Good morning. My sincerest apologies. My wireless microphone that was never the best finally died. I was doing a sermon outside in the blizzard to just show you how much I missed spring and how much I missed camping. But sadly, we didn't really get much of that audio. So I'm going to let you look at the visuals of me being in the cold while I tell you what I was talking about. February is the Iowa United Methodist Camp's annual stewardship month. And in this month, we have about 100 volunteers that are going through making direct asks to support and fund our United Methodist camping. So I just want to tell you a little bit about all of that. First, I'm going to talk about the spiritual need for camping. Then I'm going to talk about why Iowa United Methodist camps are really good at what they do. And I'm finally going to talk to you about what exactly the Iowa United Methodist camps need. So first of all, God made us. God made us to be part of nature. The biggest reason why we need Christian camping, specifically United Methodist camping, is because that's how God made us. If you go to Genesis chapter 1, the creation story they find there, God goes through and as he creates every part of the earth, he declares that it is good. Of course, he declares humanity that we are very good. However, all the rest of creation is good. So God made it to be enjoyed. If you go to Genesis chapter 2, the creation story is there. The first thing that God does is he puts Adam in the middle of creation and helps him work it. We are supposed to work with God to help build our surroundings and engage in creation. That's how God made us. There are so many examples in the Bible of how being out in nature is restorative to your soul and to your spirit. If you look to Jesus Christ, whenever he was feeling overwhelmed, whenever he was feeling scared or frustrated, he went out to the gardens, to the mountains, to the wilderness, to be alone in creation, to rejuvenate himself. The prophet Elijah, when he was overwhelmed by his prophetic task, he went out to Mount Sinai. He got away from the world to just engage in creation to be restored. God made us such that we will be healed and restored when we engage in his creation. The great theologian and author C.S. Lewis, he talks about how his first true connection with God was through nature, that he sensed that he was part of something bigger than just his traditions, than his family, when he was out in the world. Kids need that connection. And through United Methodist Camping, they have that opportunity. Not everyone was blessed to be born in a rural community like you or I was. So kids in towns and cities all across Iowa, they need the opportunity to go out and really engage in creation through some spiritual guidance. Yes, you can feel something bigger than yourself when you're out in nature, but you can't really connect the dots on your own. So that's why Christian camping is so essential. Specifically in the United Methodist Church, we're having a hard time right now. The entire world is having a hard time right now. There's so much conflict going on that there is a potential split in the church right now, but camping is a universally celebrated activity. Everyone on all sides of the spectrum look to the United Methodist camps and say, this is something that is wonderful still. This is something that is still worth doing. So we need camps because God made us to enjoy creation, and our church needs camp because this can be our new cornerstone. This can be our foundation, so that way we can find some commonality and start healing some of those rifts. So the second thing is why the Iowa United Methodist camps are so great at what they do. There are a lot of different camping models all across the country in different denominations, in secular, and even in different United Methodist conferences. Some play, some conferences have what they call the dean model, where you reserve the space, you reserve the facilities, and you launch your own camp. That usually has a lot of volunteers, and maybe they're not as trained as well. Whereas all of the Iowa camps have highly trained staff, not just to keep the kids safe, but to help them along in their spiritual journey. These kids will have an amazing camp experience because they go through and they hire the best people and they train the best people. Furthermore, we have, to my knowledge, the only Christian faith-based camping experience for exceptional people. They're also called individuals with special needs, but these exceptional people camps are just phenomenal. They serve these individuals with a lot of grace and a lot of patience. God calls us to serve the most disadvantaged and the most in need, and these individuals really embody that. But they also embody just the purest expression of joy. If you've ever had the chance to work with these individuals or even take them to camp, you know that they're amazing. Camp Wesley Woods, every year at their Exceptional Persons Camp, their spots sell out faster than you can possibly imagine. And it's really hard to get all the staffing needs to support those individuals. And finally, I just want to give a personal plug for the Iowa United Methodist camps because I have had at least a half dozen youth really connect to God through these camps. Church is fantastic, but church can be hard. We've all had church conflicts. We've all been hurt by the church at some point in our lives. But I've seen relationships with faith, with Christ, and with the church restored through a camping experience. They may have been hurt at the local church by some conflict or another, but when they go to camp, they feel restored and they come back renewed. Iowa Camping has done a great job of connecting our youth to the local church. So finally, here's the real point here. What does the Iowa United Methodist camps need? Well, they need money. A brief history of the past decade or two with the Iowa United Methodist camps. We used to have 4. There was one in southwest Iowa, there was one in northeast Iowa, there was one in Okoboji, and there's one at Wesley Woods, which is just south of Indianola. With those 4 camping locations, every kid in Iowa had access to camp. Nobody had to drive more than an hour, maybe 2 at max, to get to one of our camping locations. Well, sadly, over a decade ago, we had to close the one in southwest Iowa. 2 years ago, we sold the one in northeast Iowa to another company. So now we are down to just 2 camps. Our camps are supported by our apportionment dollars. That when we pay our apportionments, a good chunk of that goes to support and fund camps. The real cost of sending a kid to camp is about $700. That includes the housing, that includes the staff to look over them, that includes the food, that includes everything you can imagine, the insurance, all of that stuff. And if you think about it, that's for a week long. That's about $100 a day. Can you stay at a hotel for $100 a day? No. However, can a lot of families afford to spend that much money on a kid? Especially if they have more than one kid? No. Iowa United Methodist camps have seen their funding from our apportionment dollars drop because our apportionments have been dropping. That the church all over the place has been having a financial hard time. So to compensate for that decline in apportionment dollars, they have set a fundraising goal for the month of February of $200,000. That's a lot of money. But if you think about it like this, there are over 730 United Methodist churches in Iowa. They serve roughly 15 to 20,000 United Methodists. If all of us could pitch in $10, that's the goal. If all of us could pitch in $10 a month, that's some room for growth. We can make a huge difference by supporting our Iowa United Methodist camps. I want you to think about your experience in nature. Did you have a church camp experience? If so, I want you to tell me about it. Write in the comments, send me an email, give me a phone call. I want to hear about your camping experience. And I also want you to think about the children in your community, your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews. How many of them get a week to spend in nature every year? Probably not many. There is this really fun program called the Campfire Program. If you give $1,000 to the Iowa United Methodist camps, your name goes up on a cool plaque at one of the locations of your choice. Doesn't have to be your name either. I talked with Brian Johnson, the director of camping. He says I can put whatever name I want there once I give my $1,000. And I'm thinking some fun ones to put up there. But if you do the math on that, that's about $84 a month. $84 a month to give $1,000. That'll cover a full camp experience for one child. That'll almost cover a full camping experience for an exceptional person. This will give church counselors, camp counselors, a job over the summer that will enrich them for the rest of their lives. This will give our church acclaim in ministry. I've spoken at annual conference only twice in my decade in ministry. Both times were about camping. If we are going to call ourselves United Methodists, if we are going to call them United Methodist camps, we have to have skin in the game. We have to support them. We can't just put our stamp on them and just say, oh, that's good enough. No, we need to show these camps, we need to show these campers that we truly support them, that we truly love them. The great Billy Graham once said, you give me a man's checkbook, I will tell you the status of his soul. Right now, our soul is not supporting camps. So I want you to think. I want you to think real hard about how you want to support camping, how you want to support the youth. And if you can manage a financial gift, I want you to reach out to me and talk to me. I can get you set up with a pledge card, and we can get you organized with a monthly donation. Or you can go to this website right here, and you can sign up for yourself. Again, $200,000 is to just meet the minimum. Just meet the minimum. If we want to grow our camping program, if we want to grow our youth ministries, we have to exceed that goal by a lot, because right now we are just scraping by about bare bones. But I know that if you think about all the joy you've had in nature, if you think about how much you love the kids in your community, your heart will find a place in your wallet to make sure that those opportunities go on for the youth for all years to come. God bless.